Good afternoon, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of My Harlem Portraits. As you know, this show intends to shed a light on the fundamental contribution that African Americans have given to the building of this nation. A contribution which has not been recognized enough, and a contribution which has not been given reparation yet, and we need to do that. So, as I was saying, we are going to talk about Black excellence in every field, be it in the arts, science, politics, every field where African Americans have contributed to the building of this nation. Today we are going to talk about Black excellence in theater. And today more than ever, due to the cuts in funding for the arts and theater in general, Black theater in particular suffers and needs all the support that theater lovers can offer in order to sustain its fundamental contribution to cultural legacy. This is why we are talking today with our distinguished guest, Mrs. Jackie Jeffries. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you for having me, Maria, and thank you for your, I want to say your dedication to the African American culture. You've said for years that you wanted to do this, and I'm so glad that your vision is being actualized. And, you know, I love you for loving us. So how are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you for being on this show, Jackie.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We must share that Jackie and I are very good friends. Actually, Jackie is the reason why I went back. I was reconnected with theater after many years. I had worked in politics, and so I didn't have time. But meeting Jackie when she was working, and she was a producer at the National Black Theater, meant getting back in touch with theater, and she made me discover the excellence of Black theater. And with the excellence of Black theater, when we talk about that, we talk about Adelco. And Jackie Jeffries is the president of Adelco.
Yes.
So thank you for the incredible work you're doing. But tell our viewer what is Adelco and how it started.
So Adelco was started by Miss Vivian Robinson and a group of women, and along with Miss Mary B. Davis. So as you see on your screen, there's a group of women and a gentleman that Adelco wanted to highlight this year, because there are names like Mr. Fred Powell, Miss Grace Jones, Carrie Jackson, Janice Keller, and they're all former presidents of Adelco. So this year we wanted to continue the legacy by honoring them and honoring Miss Vivian for her vision to start an organization that would celebrate Black theater companies, artists, directors, producers, technicians. So Miss Vivian said she was tired of going to see Black people in shows on Broadway, off Broadway, and they never acknowledged African American, the African American artists. So she, with a team of people, decided to start the Adelco Awards in 1973. And so here we have today, in 2019, the Adelco Awards, and the legacy continues.
So we are on the 50th anniversary of Adelco soon.
47.
47.
Of 3 more years.
And Adelco stands for Audience Development Committee,
Yes.
so that our
Yes.
viewer know what it is. And because it has the other mission that Adelco has is to bring Black theaters in the communities that ordinarily don't have the opportunity to go to the theater or to be exposed to
Yes.
so much excellence.
Her vision was to bring audience members. So not only do we have the Adelco Awards, which once a year we celebrate the excellence, the best in Black theater, but she also wanted to develop audience. So in the inner city communities, we don't usually go to plays. We go to movies, we read books. But Miss Vivian decided that it's time to reach into the communities and the projects in the Lower East Side, uptown, and get people out to see theater. And specifically, she was interested in highlighting theater for African Americans.
So theater that talked about questions that relate to African American society and
Yes.
the problems and the progress, the no progress, and so on.
Yes, definitely it's culture based. And we want to celebrate. We want to tell our stories, keep our stories alive, bring in new playwrights, honor the classics, make sure we honor people who have given their just due. We honor people who have been in theater 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. So we had some great honorees this year. And I could name a few if you like.
Yes.
So this year we're doing the Outstanding Achievement Award to Mr. Kenny Leon.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to honor...
Who has produced...
he's produced a number of
lately...
things. He just did Much Ado About Nothing,
Exactly,
which
in the
is
park.
being nominated for 11 awards.
Wow.
And was produced by the Public Theater. But he's also done like numerous Broadway plays. But also he had his own theater company called True Colors in Atlanta. And so when plays were produced here in New York, off Broadway, he would bring the plays down to Atlanta and produce it in Atlanta. So because he makes sure to deal with Broadway, off Broadway, and abroad, we felt it was time that he be honored. And so our next honoree would be David D Wright, who has received numerous sound designs from Adelco, but he's also a playwright. He's a director, and he's written like over 20 plays about the Yoruba tradition, and we've never recognized him for his work in his Yoruba works. So it's time that we say thank you to Mr. Wright.
Wonderful.
And then we're honoring Stephen Bird and Aaliyah Jones.
Oh my God, that's a wonderful, yes.
Taking Broadway by storm. And so they're making sure that blacks are recognized on Broadway, that they work, that they can feed their families. And it really is breaking ground.
Yes, because they are the first black-owned Broadway producing firm.
Front Row Productions, right?
Front Row Productions.
Right. So we've been wanting to honor them for a while because we're grateful that they have the courage to go into an industry which we're not usually in, I would say, recognized as producers. We may be behind, we may be investors.
Behind the scenes and
but
so on.
they really are just, I said
They are in the front row.
Yeah, I said they're making footprints on Broadway.
Absolutely.
So,
and they produce amazing stuff.
Yes, they do. And then we're going to do Board of Directors to Intozaki Shange.
Yes.
Who we will give it to her posthumously.
For colored girls.
For colored girls, for photograph, for all her works, for all her years of dance, for all her years of liberational work. Zaki is just amazing, and we could not let another year go by without saying thank you to her. And then Mickey Grant.
Just passed.
Yes, she did. She passed last year. So Mickey Grant is going to receive the Legacy Award.
Another wonderful
for her
person.
amazing.
Yes.
Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope.
Which I saw, and it's one of the best plays I've ever seen. It's music, it's dancing, it's soul, it's everything.
You saw the one that Savion recently directed?
Yes.
Incredible, right?
Amazing, amazing.
So-
I was like,
It was incredible. I actually saw the original production, and so I have, and
which
I've
is
seen it so many
when was
times.
this?
1972, I think it was.
So
Dating
Yeah.
myself a little bit, but
another trailblazer.
yes, yes. So we're gonna honor Miss Vicky. She's a lyricist, an actor, just a writer in her own right. So we're honored, and we'll in the evening off honoring Miss Barbara Montgomery and Mr. Woody King Jr.
And Woody King Jr. is another of our guests.
Yes.
He's a legend.
Yes, he is a legend. He's a
And
living
you are
legend.
honoring him for the career, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All this,
Absolutely.
let's remind that it's on October 18.
No,
We are
November
So-
18th.
sorry.
She wants it to come
October is
quickly.
gone.
It's
November 18, and it's the Adelco Awards ceremony,
yes.
which is going to be held
It'll
where?
be at BMCC/Tribeca Performing Arts Center at 199 Chambers Street.
It's a beautiful
It's
place.
a beautiful place.
Beautiful venue.
7 p.m.
Mhm.
Right. Doors open at 6, red carpet. And we're going to have a wonderful time. We have like 34 plays. It's like historically 34 plays, 23 categories. It's just amazing.
And
The
we have
competition was high.
One of the co-hosts,
Oh, Miss Rhonda Ross, who was the
Rhonda
host
Ross.
last year. She was incredible, and I cannot say how many people called to say we need to have her again.
Yes.
So we're honored to have her. And also our rising star is Rafe Hinnock Kendrick. And so come out and see him. He is Rhonda's
Absolutely.
son. So, and
Absolutely.
he's amazing. So we look forward to honoring him.
We are all invited to buy tickets to go and see this fantastic, fantastic ceremony. Where can they buy tickets?
I'm sure the tickets will go on sale like probably around the first week in November. And if they're nominees, producers, or technicians, they would call Adelco, and they'll get their tickets through Adelco. If it's the general public, they can get their tickets through the Tribeca box office.
Okay, so for the general public, the Tribeca box office, and for people in the field, at Audelco.org or calling
Yes.
Adelco. 18th of November at 7 p.m.
Yes,
All right.
yes, yes, yes.
Now, this year is going to be the second year that the ceremony is missing one important person.
Yes, it is.
This important person is here in the background, is Mrs. Grace Jones,
Yes,
who was the president
yes.
for many years,
13 years.
for 13 years.
For 13
And when I
years.
met you
Yes.
and you introduced me to Adelco, you introduced me
Yes.
to Mrs. Grace
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
And her presence, her personality were so amazing, so attractive. She was such a welcoming person that I decided I needed to get an interview
Yes.
with her for Harlem News. And you made it possible for me. She welcomed me in her home. And we had the most amazing conversation. You were there. She made me sometimes come tears to my eyes because her life has been incredible. And I want to thank you again for the opportunity you gave me to meet her, because not only that time, but later on, I have been in her presence many times,
Yes.
and she has always been very, very welcome. And she was an amazing person who brought on an amazing work
Yes.
with Adelco.
Yes.
And I know that what you're doing now, the challenge you have taken on with Adelco, with being the president of Adelco, is a
Yes.
big challenge. And we come now so to the how do black theater and institutions like yours can support themselves apart from the tickets for the ceremony. What are the possibilities do you have?
So we have ways where people can support us by donating. We have the basic contributor. We have the sponsor. We have, people can donate. They can go to www.adelco.org and they'll see the list of categories. You can become a patron. You can, for $5,000 or more, you can be an associate producer. There are different levels. We have the membership. You can become a member. Membership is $50 now. You can become a member. When you become a member, you can vote. You can vote for productions. You can vote for your friends, your family. So there are different ways. We definitely take contributions. We are a 501c3 organization. So you can donate to the organization and you can write it off as a tax write-off. And so I'm working on developing the development arm again so that we can reach out and get grants again. So because under Miss Vivian and several other producers, we had that wing going. And we want to look at an educational wing again. And we're going to get back on social media and spread the word about Adelco. And listen, this is about us. This is about our stories continuing. This is about our art. This is about our legacy. This is about our culture. So we should get behind it. We should get behind it because we need to get behind it for our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, because when I'm gone and you're gone, the work should live on. We should still be honoring African Americans for their contribution in the arts as well as the community, nationally, the planet. I mean, African Americans have built a lot of this country.
Absolutely.
And we need to acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And theater is one of the most direct forms of teaching, of sharing, without being scholastic.
Yes.
Entertaining people, and at the same time, while you entertain, you share the knowledge and share the understanding of the contribution of African Americans in this country and in the world in general.
Yeah, Dr. Tia used to say that it's the healing art form. So it's liberation, it's healing, it's education, it's a way to, like some of our history has been painful, but when you put it in a play, when you put it in dance, because Adelco is not only about celebrating theater, it's also about celebrating the African American dancer. So when you put it in dance, when you put it in our music, it can be healing, it can be soothing, and you can receive it. So I love theater.
Really?
I was studying to be a doctor.
I would never have said that.
And I just love theater because I know that we can reach children. We can transform adults through theater. It's a healing force.
Absolutely. When you talk about reaching children, my first encounter with theater was when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and the school took us to see a play for children, The Pink Chimpanzee it was called. And I was mesmerized.
Wow.
And I was telling Woody King Jr. that theater became my first love. I
Oh, I
started
love it.
writing plays, and I started distributing the parts to the children in the neighborhood,
love that.
setting
What
up
were
the
you-
stage and so on. I loved it. But then I started working in politics, and I didn't have time anymore and so on. And you brought me back to that.
Welcome home.
Thank you. You brought me back to that. I want to just something that Grace Jones said, because Grace really touched me. She said, "We owe to ourselves to support the efforts and passion of artists who are working daily to make sure our history, the one not taught in schools, is known and never forgotten. It is a unique organization, Adelco, that goes beyond the Tony. Adelco applauds what others ignore."
Ashe. Ashe. Well, I love Miss Grace.
Yes.
She will live on forever through us all. I want to thank Miss Grace, Miss Vivian, Miss Mary B. Davis, Mr. Fred Powell, Carrie Jackson, Janice Keller, and all the people who have made Adelco possible over the years. 47 years. And so many people have donated their time, their money, their talent, and we're so grateful to continue to honor you. So thank you.
And Adelco has honored and made famous many actors.
Yeah.
It has been a great recognition that these actors received, and I'm just going to name a few. Kerry Washington, Samuel L. Jackson, Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen, Denzel Washington, Barbara Montgomery, Sana Lathan, and I could go on.
On and on.
And on and on and on. So, what you have been doing, what Adelco has been doing, is a fundamental breakthrough groundwork that has brought us to the situation we are in today,
Yes.
in which the presence of African American in
Yes.
theater, both on Broadway and off Broadway, is definitely much larger and much more important than it
Yes.
was a few
Yes.
years ago.
Yes, absolutely.
We have in Harlem News, we have 2 pages that Linda Armstrong does, she is on the committee.
Yes, she is. She's the secretary of Adelco. Absolutely.
In Adelco, and she has these 2 annual pages about Black on Broadways and Black off Broadways.
Yes.
And these are fantastic issues.
Yes.
With every single person, African American descent, who works on Broadway in every field,
Yes.
Broadway and off Broadway. So those are issues that you definitely want to check out. So check out Harlem News and check
Yes.
out these issues. You can go online and see it. Adelco also has a couple of publications, right?
We used to have the intermission,
Mm-hmm.
which we will be relaunching.
All right.
So that was the publication that we had.
That's a
It was called
newsletter.
Yes, the intermission was a newsletter.
And what about the overture?
The overture is the program for the night.
All right.
So, every year when you come, you receive a new overture.
And that is a very interesting booklet.
Yes.
It's really,
Yes.
it tells you all the nominees and everything.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
fantastic. Can I say, I overheard you saying also the other day, another one of the nominees, the Apollo Theater.
Oh, Camilla Forbes. Yes, you did.
Exactly.
You did hear me congratulate Camilla. She is up for Best Director for, by the way, Meet Vera Starks. So she was very excited.
Yes. And I'm very excited that we are sharing this news. That's the first interview you have in which you
Right.
say,
Yes.
you tell the
Yes.
nominees and so
Yes,
on, right?
Absolutely. So we have so many nominees this year. To name a few, the plays are The Secret Life of Bees. Again, by the way, Meet Vera Starks. Much Ado About Nothing. The Bad Guy. Looking for Leroy. The
Bah,
Reunion in
fantastic.
Bartersville. Black Spectrum. Uh, it's almost endless. The Light from MCC Theater. Dot from Billie Holiday Theater. Rolling Stone. Tony Stone from the Roundabout Theater. I could go on and on and on. And if I missed you, I love you. Congratulations to you all. The list is endless. I could read it if you like.
Yes. We have 1 minute, a
Okay,
short
so let me
minute.
just read the plays for you.
And I think it's very important
Okay.
because we are.
Are we ready? Okay, so I'm just going to, even if I rename them, Secret Life of Bees, She-Nanigans, The Haunting of Lin-Manuel, Lena and Bozeman, Ain't No More,
Oh my God.
Fabulations, The Girl from the North, The Savage Queen, Native Son, Coriolanus, Fireflies, Carolina Change, The Key Game, Tony Stone, Behind the Sheet, Daddy, Strange Loop, Separate and Equal, Lockdown, The B-Side, The Light, Down to Earth, Proof of Love, The Day I Found Out I Was Black, I said Rolling Stone, Savage Queen, Fairview, and I think that is it.
I think.
Oh, Miracle at Rwanda.
Oh, yes.
Oh
Beautiful.
my God, with all of her characters.
Fantastic. I saw that.
Okay.
So this is the best way to conclude our episode today with a list of excellent people who have been doing excellent plays
Absolutely.
and creating excellent art.
Okay. Maria, we love you. Thank you for having us. And thank you for actualizing your vision.
Because you guys
Yes.
helped me a lot.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you to our public. And we see you next time at My Harlem Portraits. Have a good day.